Alright y'all, I'm back with another video. This is Mr. Solo Dolo. So before I even jump into the video, I'm gonna need y'all to like the video. It don't take that long. I see a lot of y'all look at my videos. I get more views than I get likes. So I'm gonna need y'all to just like the damn video. It does not take long. It literally takes one click, okay? Just one, it's only one button. One button. I'm gonna need y'all to do that real quick before I even jump into this topic. Alright, cool, boom. So, what I want to talk to y'all about is how to not give a fuck. Step by step. So there's gonna be 5 steps of how to not give a crap, okay? Because I feel like the problem with a lot of us is we care too much about what people think about us. We care too much about life in general. We put too much energy into the things that serve no purpose, that have no value. Okay? And the 5 things I'm going to list in this video are going to prove that. So step one on how to not give a fuck is to stop over analyzing. Stop over analyzing every situation. Stop over analyzing every person that you meet. Stop over analyzing basically everything. Okay? Nobody's out to get you. Nobody is worried about you. Nobody really cares about what you're doing. Overanalyzing everything is going to lead to anxiety, being too anxious. When you start overanalyzing everything, now I'm not saying, you can't be analytical, but being analytical is a good thing. You need to analyze certain things, right? Certain situations, certain people, things that happen, right? It's good to have a logical approach to things. But when you get into the habit of overanalyzing people, relationships, friendships, instead of just letting things flow through, letting things kind of happen organically, you're trying to, you could probably destroy or, block your blessings by overanalyzing every situation, every person. The person that you're trying to overanalyze could be that person that came into your life for a reason, to benefit you. But you see, you being over analytical and you not trusting that person because you have a past of not trusting other people, okay? You're so used to being hurt and being taken advantage of, and you can't bring yourself to trust anybody. So now when anybody comes around you, you want to be over analytical. But one thing that can do, okay, that's going to be negative, okay? You don't want to block your blessing. You can block your blessing by being over analytical towards everybody. Right? That comes with that comes with the bad too, being over analytical. That person that came into your life could possibly create a shift, create a positive shift in your life. Right? And being over analytical towards everything can just close so many doors for you. And I'm learning this myself. I'm learning this myself to not always be over analytical towards everything and just kind of let things play out how it's supposed to play out. And when it comes to life in general, that's how you're supposed to go about it. Okay? Just accept that things are not going to go your way. Accept the fact that people are going to be a-holes. Expect that people are going to disappoint you at times. You just have to accept the bad and also the good out of every situation. Okay? It's okay to be analytical, but overanalyzing can be dangerous. Being over analytical can block your blessings. All right? So to not give a fuck, to learn how to not give a fuck is to stop being over analytical and just let things, play out. All right? Just let things flow through. Step two is to stop overthinking everything. Okay? Number 2, stop overthinking. Overthinking is going to lead to depression. Okay? Point blank. The more times you overthink every situation, the more times you overthink your life, overthink decisions that you made, overthink your past, overthink everything about your life, you are going to get depressed. You are going to be depressed. Okay? Overthinking is one of the things that you do not need to be doing. You don't need to be taking part in overthinking anything. Okay? We have been in that habit before, of overthinking. All right? Decisions and people and stuff like that. All right? But like I said, when it comes to overanalyzing everything, it's kind of the same thing with overthinking. Okay? You don't want to think too much about the decisions that you're going to make. Right? Because the more times you overthink your decisions, that big decision you're going to make, okay, more likely you're not ready to make that decision. You're not ready for that big leap that you're finna take. Because you're overthinking that leap. You're overthinking that move that you want to make. Okay? If you have to overthink that entire move that you're going to make, okay, you're not supposed to take that move. You're not supposed to make that leap. You're not ready to take that leap if you're always overthinking it. Right? If you're overthinking every decision that you're going to make, 9 times out of 10, it's because you are not informed. You're not educated, right? Because you have to be informed, okay? Educated to make informed decisions. And if you are overthinking every decision that you're going to make, you're not ready to make that decision yet. Okay? Does this, is y'all following what I'm saying here? Because hopefully this is making sense. When you're overthinking everything, you're not ready to move forward. You're not ready to make big decisions when you're overthinking. You want to make the biggest decisions of your life when you are in a clear mind state and you are thinking clearer. You're thinking a lot clearer, and you're educated on what you know, and you can act on what you know. But overthinking choices, overthinking people, overthinking, should I do this with that person? Should I just go ahead on this date with this woman that I met? You're overthinking, should I even go to this job interview because I might not get the job, or they might not like me? You see, overthinking can lead to many, many problems. All right? You can be it can lead you to questioning your own self-worth. Okay? Overthinking can lead you to questioning your own value, questioning to what you bring to the table, questioning your self-confidence, all that. It can lead to a lack of confidence, low self-esteem. Overthinking can just lead to so many mental problems. All right? So many problems that you do not need. Okay? You do not need these problems. But because you're overthinking everything before it even happens, you're only stressing yourself out. You're bringing yourself way more stress. And you don't need that extra stress on you. You don't need to be depressed about what's going to happen and what you think is going to happen. See, when you're in that moment of what's taking place right now, overthinking doesn't even happen, right? We think too much about what is going to happen, what we think is going to happen, but when we're in, but when we're in that moment, when we are in that moment, okay, that present moment, we're no longer worried, we're no longer anxious, we're no longer, stressing out. You know, you ever been to a job interview? You get prepared for an interview, get all dressed and everything. You gotta look good, look decent, look solid. You're on your way to the interview, and you're not sure how it's gonna go. You're not sure how it's gonna play out. In your mind, you're overthinking. Oh, how is this person going to talk to me? Is this person gonna like me? Is the boss gonna like me? Is the manager gonna like me? How's a coworker's gonna treat me? You're just thinking about all these elements, okay, about your new job or the job interview, how it's gonna play out, right? And you're just asking yourself all these questions, okay? And it's like, that's how being anxious happens. You're anxious and you're stressing yourself out because you're basically telling yourself that you're not ready for that interview. You're not mentally prepared for that interview. You think it's going to go wrong. You think it's going to go south. You think this person's not going to like you, whatever. Okay? It's normal to think that way, but when it comes to a job opportunity that you want to happen, you don't want to be stressing out. You don't want to be thinking too much about it. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. If it doesn't work out, it don't work out. You move on. All right? If the manager doesn't like you for whatever reason, that's cool. Move on. Right? Don't just set your sights on that one job that you think is going to get you by for the rest of your life. Don't give a fuck about what people are going to say or think about you regardless. If you know your worth and you know your value, you know what you bring to the table, then you ain't got to worry about that stuff. You've been disciplined. You've been working on yourself. You don't have to worry about what people are going to say about you. Nine times out of 10, they're just hating. Nine times out of 10, they're just bitter about themselves. And they're going through some shit in their lives that they're not equipped to deal with. So, I'm just saying, for an example, a job interview could be one example that, you may overthink. Okay? When it comes to anything in life, do not overthink it. Do not overthink anything. If you're going to do something, do it. Especially if you know you're ready to do that one thing. If you're ready to make that big decision, that big leap of faith, then just take that leap. What's the worst that can happen? What, you flop? You fail? Failure don't mean shit. Failure is just a lesson. Failure is just a lesson being taught to you. Okay? You can do anything in life. The minute you start overthinking it, you're not going to do it. You're going to talk yourself out of it. But one thing you could have done was talk yourself out of a great opportunity. So with that being said, to not give a fuck. How to not give a fuck is to, stop overthinking everything. Step 3. Step 3 is do not fit in. Do not worry about trying to fit in. Do not concern yourself with trying to fit the mold. Okay? You're a grown man. You're a grown woman. You don't need to fit in no more. Okay? High school's over. Middle school's over. School is done with. It's done. Okay? You have no reason to want to fit in crowds and social groups anymore. Okay? You will find where you fit in the most, okay, when you start doing more things. When you start working on yourself and you start building up your skills and you start building yourself up, you will find where you naturally fit in. But you trying to force yourself to fit in, you trying to be cool like everybody else, and you trying to do what everybody does and say things how other people say it, right? And trying to be like everybody else in that group, you know, you are going to easily lose yourself. You're going to easily become just like everybody else. Okay? And by you trying to fit in, you give a fuck about what people think about you. You give a fuck about how people perceive you. Okay? By trying to fit in too much, by trying to fit the mold, by trying to, you know, get in to all these social groups, you know, it's just not necessary. It's just not necessary. When you're someone that doesn't fit the mold and you're unconventional and you're not, you know, you're not like everybody else, right? You don't need to care as much, right? When you get older, for me at least, like when I got older, I started to care less about trying to fit in. When I realized I was unconventional, and when I realized that, you know, groups and social groups and fitting in with crowds and stuff like that, it's just not for me. Okay, that's not my cup of tea. Okay, when I do things, I do it alone. I go places alone most of the time. Okay, I'm capable of having fun without a group of people. I'm capable of having fun by myself. I can go anywhere by myself and I'll still have a good time, right? Because I know myself too well. I know myself well enough to know that I can have fun by myself. I don't need people. I don't need extra, you know, people around me, you know, to have fun, to enjoy myself, right? Yes, that would be an added bonus, but I taught myself to go without crowds, go without people, go without friends and stuff like that, right? And I start to gain this independence about myself, and the more times I got to develop my character and develop my personality, I realized how much less I need to fit in. The need to want to fit in has died down. The need to fit into social groups and to, you know, fit the mold has died down. Now, I'm not saying, you know, don't have any friends or don't have people that you talk to. I'm not saying don't build a connection with people. Do that, but be your fucking self. Be you. Be your authentic self. Just don't be yourself, but be your authentic self. Be transparent with the people that you are around. Okay? Don't just try to be like them because of what they're doing, you think it's cool. You're taking what's great about you and you're holding yourself back from showing that to the entire world or to just around the small group of people that you are around. Okay? You're trying to, you know, copy their swag and copy their way of doing things and, you know, their language and, you know, trying to, you know, fit their mold. You don't need to do that. Okay? You don't need to do that at all. You just have to be your authentic self. Okay? When you truly don't give a fuck, bro, you are going to be your authentic self. You know your flaws, you know your deficiencies, you know where you lack, and it's okay to be truthful. It's okay to be honest. I know where I lack. Okay? I know that I know I got deficiencies. Okay? I am not going to put that under the bed. I'm not going to hide that in the closet. It's going to be out in the open. Okay? Mistakes and all that, failures, whatever, etc. I'm not going to hide that. Okay? I'm going to make that well known. Because I'm human just like you're human. Okay? I'm not fucking perfect. And I don't plan on being perfect. So at the end of the day, you just have to be authentic about, you know, about yourself. And where you come from. What you have. What you've been through. You know, don't try to fake this image to people that, you know, that you think that want to see that side of you, but really they don't give a fuck. But when you try to fake an image, you try to be someone that you're not, you know, people are going to sense that. People are going to sense that, yeah, this guy's fake. He's a phony. You know, people can sense fakeness and phoniness a mile away. So I advise you, if you want to, you know, learn how to stop giving a fuck, you know, don't fit in. Don't try to fit in. Don't try to fit the mold. Don't try to, you know, don't even try. If people fuck with you, people fuck with you. They don't, they don't. You move on. Step 4 is to develop emotional intelligence, okay? Emotions, you know, they play a big part in, like, in how we navigate through life. You know, our emotions are a big part of what we do, the decisions that we make. Okay? For you to always be, to have emotions for the first, you know, first and foremost, having emotions is important. You know, God gave us emotions for a reason. But it's our job to utilize those emotions wisely. Okay? When we don't use our emotions wisely, you know, things, you know, become disarray. Our life becomes disarray. Our life becomes unorganized when we do not manage our emotions properly. Okay? In order for you to be emotionally intelligent, you have to choose what you decide to give a fuck about. Okay? You have to choose what you want to give a fuck about. You see, when you give a fuck about the small things and minuscule things and stuff like that, when you give too much a fuck about, you know, small things, like, oh, somebody cut you off in traffic. Okay, big deal, it happened. You know, you don't get all mad about it, you don't get all emotional about it. Right, you're probably somebody that got emotional about somebody cutting you off in traffic, right? Or somebody looked at you funny or looked at you the wrong way. You probably took that personal, right? Or somebody said this little smart remark about you, whatever, okay? But you're one of those people that are so quick to jump to conclusions and to act out and to get, you know, all upset, stressed out, and, you know, cussing and getting all angry and stuff like that. But it's just something that's small and minuscule, right? When you have emotional intelligence, you're going to, you know, learn to properly control your emotions, especially when you're out in public. When you're around people and you know people are going to test you, you know, you can't control what people are going to say to you. You can't control what life is going to do to you. You can't control what life is going to throw your way, but it is your job and your responsibility to respond accordingly, right? You choose how you want to react. You choose how you want to respond to certain challenges and what life wants to throw your way. You can either be emotional about it, you can either be angry, violent, whatever, pissed off, whatever. You know, or you can decide to logically look at the situation for what it is. You can approach it in a very logically way and react in a sense of, well, why did this have to happen to me? Why did this happen to me? What was the reason behind this happening? Right? When you start approaching it in a very logical way and you try to make sense of what happened and what was the reason behind this happening, you know, then you start to develop that emotional intelligence, right? By trying to bring sense into what happened instead of just being all emotional and mad and, you know, throwing things and cussing people out, whatever. You know, you calmly address the situation and you say, you know what, how can I fix this and how can I make this better? You know, why did this happen? And what was the reasoning behind this happening to me? You know, there's always a reason to why something happens, right? You're supposed to learn something from that experience, what happened, right? You can't just play victim. And that's what we do, essentially, is play victim. We think that life is out to get us. Life is against us, but really life is for us, bro. Life is for us. It's just a difference of perspective. Okay? And then once you realize this, that okay, life is not out to get me. Life is just for me. Life is happening not to me, but for me. You are going to naturally build that emotional intelligence and just be able to handle your problems in a very efficient way, in a very efficient manner. Okay? And look at it logically instead of looking at it all emotional, right? Yes, you're supposed to have emotions. It's okay to have emotions, but you have to know how to manage your emotions. Okay? I'm not saying be emotionless, but you have to choose when you want to be. You have to choose when the right time is to be emotional. Not just be emotional at everything that happens to you, but you have to choose, what to give a fuck about, what to care about, what you want to put your energy into. Don't put your energy into the small things that absolutely mean nothing in the long run. You put your energy and you put all your fucks. You put all your fucks to the things that matter in the long run, that are going to benefit you in the long run. You put all your energy into that. Okay? You activate those elevated emotions into what matters in your life. Okay? Whether it's your family, people that are close to you, your career, your business, your goals, your health. You put all your emotions into those things that really matter the most. So step 5 is the last step to not give a fuck is to accept that suffering is a part of living. Okay? I wrote this down myself. You have to understand that suffering is going to happen. Okay? Suffering is a part of living life. If you go through life just expecting great things to happen to you, if you go through life expecting, butterflies, unicorns, and rainbows and expecting a cakewalk, then I'm here to tell you right now, for your reality check, you are going to be very, very disappointed. Very, very disappointed. And you will be slapped around. You'll get ran over and squashed by reality, by life, by the world. If you are not mentally prepared for what is going to happen. If you're not mentally prepared for challenges to come your way. All right? If you want to truly, to not give a fuck, you have to accept that suffering is going to happen. You are going to suffer in some type of way. You have to value suffering, because suffering is what makes us stronger. It's what makes us stronger human beings. Imagine life without suffering. Life would be fucking pointless. Life would be fucking pointless if there was no suffering, if there was no obstacles, if there was nothing that was put up against us for us to take down, for us to overcome. If there was nothing in life to overcome, life would be pointless. You might as well just be dead. Straight like that. You might as well just be dead. Because if you're not fighting for something, you're not living. If you don't stand for something, you stand for nothing. You'll fall for anything if you don't stand for something. If you're handed everything on a silver platter from the day from the day that you were born, if you're handed everything, you are not going to know what it's like to actually work. You're not going to know what it's actually like to work for things and what it's like to work for a car, a crib or whatever, money, assets, whatever. If you don't know what it's like to work for things and you're just used to having everybody hand you stuff and you're given handouts left and right, you are going to be soft. You are going to be soft. You are. You are. You have to accept that suffering is going to take place. The sooner you realize that, bro, the more smooth, easy will be. The more smooth that life will be. Okay, the more smooth that life will be for you when you just decide, when you just realize that suffering is a part of life. Life will be a lot more smoother. And nothing is going to take you off your pivot like that when you are prepared for what's going to happen, when you are prepared for adversity. You need to battle through adversity. You need to know what it's like to battle through things and overcome things, because that's how experiences are acquired. That's how wisdom is acquired, when you overcome things, when you go through certain experiences and you learn something from those experiences. You are going to gain the wisdom from that, the knowledge of that experience, and the knowledge of that event that took place, right? And you can pass that knowledge and that wisdom on to your kids, you know, future generations. Okay, when you just go through life not going through anything, you know, hard, or you didn't deal with challenges, you didn't deal with adversity, you know, you are going to grow up to be soft. You are going to be very fragile. And then when you do go through something, when you do face adversity, you are going to back down. You're going to punk out. You're not going to know how to handle adversity. When adversity hits you in the face, you're not going to know how to clap back. You're not. But if you're somebody that has always been through adversity, like myself, you're going to know what it's like to clap back. You're going to clap back regardless. You're going to get back up. You're going to know how to handle that situation. You're going to have the mental fortitude, the emotional intelligence to deal with adversity the right way. Right? But if you're somebody, once again, that was handed everything, life was just unicorns and rainbows from the very jump, the minute something happens, the minute something goes wrong in your life, the minute something just ruins your perfect little world that you got going on, you're going to lose it. You are going to lose it. You are going to become soft, and your weaknesses will be exposed. You're going to punk out. You're going to quit. You're going to give up because you don't have that toughness inside. You don't have that grit. You don't have that dog in you. You don't have that fight in you to want to keep on going. So listen. Accept suffering, bro. Accept that suffering is going to happen. You would be a fool to not accept suffering as a part of living. Listen, I like going through suffering. I've had my best moments from suffering. Okay? Breakthroughs happen when you go through suffering. Suffering made me stronger. I suffered through depression. I suffered through loneliness. I suffered through various things in my life. But I overcame those things. And it's made me a stronger, more mentally resilient individual. Okay? Because what did not kill me only made me that much stronger. It landed me on my back so I can see what going up is like. I hit rock bottom, but you know what? The only way from that direction is up. There's no going back down. The only direction is up. So all I can do is get up and keep moving forward. So I know this was a long ass video, like over 30 minutes, but I had to make this video. I had to bring y'all the message. I had to, you know, tell you guys step by step on how to, you know, not give a fuck, step by step, in 5 steps. You know, stop over analyzing, stop overthinking, you know, don't fit in, don't worry about fitting in, you know, develop emotional intelligence, and also, you know, suffering is a part of living. Accept that suffering is a part of living. I'm telling you, life will become a lot more smooth when you just follow these 5 steps. Okay, another thing that you want to do is read this book right here, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, okay, by Mark Manson. You want to cop this book on Amazon, whatever you can get it from. I advise you to read this book. It's very helpful. All right, it's a counterintuitive approach of living a good life, pretty much. And this book is really going to help you, you know, expand your mind. It's going to help you understand, you know, how to choose your fucks to give, and what fucks to not to and what fucks to not give. All right, you have to choose what you want to give a fuck about. All right, and the things that you give a fuck about, you want to put your energy into that. Don't put your energy into things you don't give a fuck about. If you know you don't give a fuck about certain people, and you know you don't give a fuck about certain things or events, don't put your energy into those things, because then you're just wasting your time. You're just wasting your emotional investments, and you want to invest emotionally into the things that you care about. Okay? Invest in the things that you care about. Invest in the things that you give a fuck about. So with that being said, man, I hope this video really helped out a lot of people, male and female especially. You know, make sure y'all like the video, subscribe if you are new. More content is to come. And like I said, man, follow these 5 steps, and you know, with enough time, enough effort, you know, sooner or later, you're just gonna stop giving a fuck. Okay? You're gonna stop giving a fuck about, you know, life in general. I'm not saying that to, you know, in a negative way. I mean, when it comes to overanalyzing, okay? When it comes to overthinking, when it comes to like not fitting in, being transparent with yourself, and knowing your deficiencies and knowing where you lack, you know, being open with your mistakes, okay? That's showing that you don't give a fuck. Okay, you not fitting in, you not trying to fit in, shows you don't give a fuck. Stop overthinking and stop overanalyzing everything. That means you don't give a fuck. Okay? Developing emotional intelligence. Choosing what you want to give a fuck about versus the things that you want to give a fuck about. That's not really giving a fuck. Because you're choosing what you want to give a fuck about versus what you don't want to give a fuck about. And 9 times out of 10, you know, we sometimes give a fuck about the small things that do not matter. Okay? I know it's a lot of y'all out there, okay? A lot of y'all out there, man, that get so butthurt, that get so amped up and so angry over small things that do not matter. It doesn't matter. You have to teach yourself and program yourself to not care about the small things. And just, you know, expecting suffering. Expect that suffering is going to happen in some way, shape, or form. Accept it. Accept adversity. Embrace it. Embrace your hard times. Embrace the struggle. Embrace every challenge that you go through. Every obstacle. So I've been on here long enough, rambling on. Make sure y'all like the video. Once again, I'm out, and peace.